Okay, I have 6:04 and we'll call the special meeting of the Green Mountain Water and Sanitation District to order, October 14th. And start with the roll call. I am Karen Morgan, present.
Roger Wendell, present. Philip Hardier, present.
So we have a quorum. Director Art Martinez is absent. And without notice and unexcused, Director Wickman is absent with notice, so is excused.
Yeah.
Tonight's meeting was just a little bit about a presentation and a Q&A. So I'm gonna go right into a presentation so that I can hear any questions and answer any of those for you, if that's okay. We just have a limited time before our next meeting, but I just wanted to get the ball rolling there. So thank you for coming so that we can tell you about how all of these changes that Lakewood is doing will affect your infrastructure here at Green Mountain. You can do a slide, please. For a little bit of background. And if I didn't introduce myself, I probably should have, if you didn't hear my name. I'm Karen Morgan. I am president of the group for those who are new. For a bit of background on the zoning, Lakewood is drastically changing their zoning to increase density throughout the whole city. Green Mountain Water and Sanitation District is already at about maximum build out. That means that our pipes are as full as they were designed to be, and sometimes they are too full. Part of the increased fees you've seen have to deal with these old and straining pipes. Next slide, please. Okay. I take this for now. Thank you. The details about Lakewood zoning can be hard to understand. It is hundreds of pages of changes. The changes are not redlined, so you don't know what is new and what was pre-existing. And us laymen don't know about zoning code. We don't want to know about zoning code. I'm sure city council feels the same way, so it's hard to get through. I recommend you read it for yourselves as much as you can, ask questions where necessary. You can reach out to me, you can reach out to us for facts, you can reach out to all of the city council and your neighbors. We're all building knowledge together. In a nutshell, Lakewood is bringing higher density throughout Lakewood in two main ways. One is that they are densifying within existing structures. They are changing the definition of everything. What a single family is, what a structure is, what a duplex is. So we now have something called a residential dwelling, which can include multiple units, multiple families, group homes, and shelters. That all comes into what was previously a single family home. The occupancy limit is determined by the building code. And you're not going to see those specifications in the zoning code, so it's not defined in there. But an average is going to be about one person for 75 square feet of living space. So for a 2,000 square foot house, that's about 27 people. The zoning code says you can have up to a 4,000 square foot house, so you can double that amount. That's how many people you can live in a structure as it's currently built. The other way is to get rid of that structure, scrape it, and build a new primary structure with multiple units. So then you could have a duplex or a quadplex. You would still be having, you could still have multiple families in that, subject to the occupancy limits. And that all depends, the sizes depends on where you're at and the size, where you're at and the size of the structure. In most places here, we're still subject, to the 35-foot height limit. So we're not talking about somebody scraping your next door neighbor's house and putting in a 7-story, 300 mega complex. That's not what we're doing here. It's smaller, but it's still dense. 93% of Green Mountain taps are for single family homes. So if we change the definition of the density for 93% of our customers, that's significant.
That's insane.
Lakewood has already passed the entire zoning code, 4 pieces, and that means that now Green Mountain should be able to handle that because we need to be prepared. Now, we have no idea how many people will actually move in. We don't know what the density will look like in 6 months or 6 years from now. Nobody does. Those studies have not been done by Lakewood, nor by us, nor any other water and sanitation district. This is important, missing information. It makes it totally hard for us to anticipate what we really need. But theoretically, if we can assume a single family was an average of 5 people in a house, and Lakewood is now allowing up to 30 people in a house, we'll take maybe an average of 15, that's still triple the capacity needed. Even doubling the capacity throughout the district is a big deal. The zoning code also allows commercial usage in residential areas. So you could have a coffee shop or a little grocery or a retail store right next door to you. That's important for us because we need to make sure we've got commercial taps in those places. They are different. Next slide, please. This slide shows the general definition of a typical Green Mountain RLB zoned property. Residents are hearing from their representatives that changes will not affect Ward 4. But you can read for yourself here. It says this zone district allows for multiple units within a single house scale building. Slide, please. Now, in my opinion, this is not speaking for the entire board, but in my opinion, Lakewood has made many bad assumptions. They have assumed that long-term housing planning doesn't involve infrastructure planning. They could have, should have consulted us months ago when they were considering this, and they did not. They have assumed that there's infinite water, and that may be what they're hearing from Denver Water. That is not really anything we can do anything about. We don't determine how much water is available. What we determine is how much pipe capacity is available. Lakewood will tell you that we don't need to worry about pipe capacity because apparently they can make better decisions than those of us whose job it is to determine. They have also seemed to assume that you can remove green space and yards to increase building size to allow for more density for people without thinking about that pipe capacity. We disagree. Slide, please. On the note about discouraging a green space, that is a policy decision that overlaps Green Mountain's mission. We here understand that suburban landscaping is an important component to maintaining biodiversity. We also know that yards are buffers for drought years. It's easier to sacrifice your landscaping during a drought than to sacrifice your household needs like showers. Green grass also has a role to play in those little lots that we still allow ourselves because it compensates for the high amount of concrete that's forming heat sinks and increasing runoff throughout the district. All of those play into our pipe calculations. Finally, you may assume that because you're not watering landscaping to have increased density, there will be extra water, but that water is now being used for people, which means that the water, instead of going into the water ecosphere, is going into a sewer. That's 180 degrees different from how Green Mountain sewer pipes were designed. They were not designed to hold all that extra water. So, and we are already maxed out on sewer capacity. This sewer capacity is a problem for us. Next slide, please. Increased capacity on existing properties is an unfunded mandate. For example, when we're talking about renting out each bedroom, using the existing property for a multifamily use. In those cases, Green Mountain has not been notified of any changes. And we don't know how much extra capacity will be needed. We don't know the burden that will be placed on our pipes. That includes rental units, the group homes, shelters. In those cases where we don't know and they're modifying and they're using the existing structure for this increased density, current residents will absorb 100% of the cost for needed infrastructure upgrades. In the second scenario, if a new owner comes in and decides to scrape the existing structure and rebuild it into multiple units, they are required to get a building permit through Lakewood. In that case, we will also get notification and we can assess a tap fee. Those people will contribute to increased pipe capacity. So we think finding out which of those properties will change from a single family to a multifamily is key to adequately assessing tap fees and getting it funding our infrastructure. Next slide, please. So that's where we are focused. We are focused on enhancing our already existing change of use policy. If you wanted to change your use in Green Mountain, you would have had to fill out one of these, and the city is not complying with our regulations, and they're doing it for the entire city. Each new multifamily use will have to be assessed so that no matter if they're doing the first method or the second method, so that we can assess an adequate tap fee. How can we find out how you're using your property? We're working on it. We'll let you know when we find out, but it's critical in order to adequately fund and monitor capacity. Next. What's next for Green Mountain regarding these zoning changes? As you may know, Green Mountain sent a letter requesting mediation to the city of Lakewood. Per state law, Lakewood was supposed to consult with us months ago during the comprehensive plan process. They did not. That consultation would have allowed us input and information for the city on how infrastructure would be impacted. So far, we have not received any official response. We are looking into other legal avenues. The district will have to redo expensive capacity studies for our infrastructure, which is a disappointment because we just completed those a year or two ago here. We can ask you to contact your neighbors in other districts so that they can be inform the neighbors in those district boards so that they know what's going on. Next, please. If you have any other questions, please contact us through the district. Their website information, the whole board is available at their email, and you can contact me at karen.morgan@greenmountainwater.org. That is it for my official presentation. Thank you very much. Did you have comments?
I have a comment. Director Morgan,
Please add.
I'm a little bit confused. You prefaced your presentation with a statement that this was not board policy. I don't recall whether or not we all agreed on this or not, but I wanted to make it clear I'm in complete support of all these points.
Oh, thank you very much.
But I don't know how that applies to the rest of the board, but.
I think we discussed most of it. I used the word that they made bad assumptions in there, and I felt bad about saying that you thought Lakewood was doing a bad job. I think they made some bad assumptions in here, which we did not previously discuss, but thank you for your support. Does anybody have questions? That was the whole point. What can I'm sorry, I'm in my usual spot over here and have my back to y'all. Is there anything I can answer for anybody? Any of the board members? Yes.
I said I wouldn't talk about it.
Please.
Is there a way, obviously the real answer is to shut the thing down or revoke it, whatever, and kill this thing, but in the interim, it sounds to me like, I don't know how long it's gonna take to do that. I know I'm signing things and that's going on. So
need a new governor.
Well, that too, I know all that, but meanwhile, what if they say, okay, you can put 100 people in the house, and I'm exaggerating. You may not be able to find out if there's 100 people unless the neighbors call and says that. Somebody comes and tries to buy a property and scrape it, and then they gotta get a water tap. What rights do you have as far as denying water taps based on the impact of what it's going to do? And for lack of a better word, throw a monkey wrench or at least slow this thing down. And, you know, or is the city somehow gonna say, too bad, you gotta give them a water tap and Merry Christmas, and that's the end of it.
It's a gray area because we are obligated to serve all of our customers as long as we have capacity.
Right.
But I don't know if we have capacity because I don't know currently what that's going to be used for or how, and we need to figure that out. So we could give everybody, normal process would be to say, we do an evaluation and we figure out whether or not that pipe is open enough to have a new tap on it, and we go like that. But in this case, where so many people can now come in, you know, it used to be, everybody knows somebody who's got that property with a bunch of cars in front that they're not supposed to have. That's a burden on the neighborhood, but there's one or two, and now it's open season and there's nothing you can do about it. So we're looking into it. We're still catching up to what Lakewood is doing ourselves, and there's a lot of legal angles that we need to check into. But we're trying. That's all I can say for now.
No,
Did I see a hand up over here? Yes.
Is there currently a moratorium on water and sewer permits in this district?
Yes, it depends on where you are building. So we have several lines, as you know, that have 100% capacity.
I looked at the report from your engineer and it says 70%. So my understanding is that your interpretation of 70% capacity is actually capacity.
No, okay, there's two different things there. Our engineering standards say that anything above 70% needs to be evaluated, and that is where we draw the line. However, we have modeled our district, and there are several lines that currently exist at 100% capacity. And that's not
I
theoretical.
don't know if you know who I am, EJ Thompson.
Yes,
Yeah,
but the
we spoke.
El Kire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take up the whole bit. My understanding is that there was a project that was on the books, I think, and I'm doing this from memory, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the Kentucky Ave extension or something like that.
That's the one I'm talking about, yes.
And that was valued at roughly $950,000. Has that been done?
It's still on the plan to do.
If that were done, am I now able to get a permit?
Yes, if there's capacity on that line, then you would have a
So
permit.
is the only issue of getting that done a cost issue?
Yes, well, yes, it's the cost
So
and
if I
and the
said I
plan.
would pay the $950 and pay for that line, then I could get my permit.
Probably, but
Okay.
it's all dependent on
I know that's very
the-
broad
yes.
strokes, and
I mean, that's a lot, yes.
But I'm trying to establish a base where I can figure out a solution to our problem.
Right,
And so if I know that that's where ultimately it needs to start, then I can kind of back into something.
once we have that line upsized, then it would be open again. And you saw that last month, the board passed an exemption for somebody else. We are still doing the planning to get that in line, and there's a cost sharing agreement available for that, so check in again.
Address that, and how do I get in? I want an exception.
I check in with district manager on those
And
details
the
later,
district manager-
is Josh,
Okay, Josh.
yes.
Okay, great. Maybe I could get an appointment with you this week sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent, thank you. Good, thank you.
Yes,
We did send out an email maybe a month ago,
So I don't know if you got that, it might have hit your spam or something like that.
I haven't received anything
There was,
except from Karen about.
Yeah, well, I can resend it to you.
Okay, but I
Thank
would
you.
like to talk about that. I have some ideas and I mean,
Great.
it may work, it may not, but if,
Yeah,
let's
So-
start talking about it.
yeah, let's meet later.
Okay, great.
Anybody else have questions? Anything specific? Oh, yes, Karen.
You did say in some of the documents about a referendum for stopping the zoning garbage altogether.
Yes, and I can't talk about that from here, but I'm going to refer you to Brian, who is in the audience.
Okay, 'cause that's what I was wondering,
I
if
got
there's a way to stop that garbage altogether.
Yes, there are.
I've got petition 1, 2, and 3. So they passed last night, they passed 4, so right now 4 will be addressed by the lawyers and whatever, so,
So if you have referendum business, we'll ask you to take that
okay.
outside, but that is available. Any? Yes,
Has the staff received any indication from the Lakewood staff that they're not going to respond to your letter?
would, I don't, not that I know of, not that I know. Of. They have. I've had 2 city councilors tell me that it's probably not factual information. They didn't say it that way. They said they can't speak to the truth of the matter. And, if you heard last night at city council, Councilor Glenda Sinks said that, she doesn't know why everybody's just listening to one district who doesn't know what they're talking about, so.
Yeah, well, follow up to that, is it your sense that the board will act on day 91 to seek an injunction against the city to move forward with anything related to?
I don't have a sense of that. We're still pursuing options. But thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah.
And anybody else? Okay. Okay, I didn't see, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't look online. Ludmilla, you have your hand raised. Would you like to speak?
Hi there. How is everybody doing tonight? Looks like a nice crowd inside. I had 2 questions. One was, how is the state law going to affect the tap fees? And then, also, the city is a water provider. I've always been curious, are we paying for some of their infrastructure with our taxes and everything they collect from us? That would be interesting to find out, because just looking at their budgets and everything, I can't see it in that. I'm wondering, because they have their own customers, they should be paying for their own, because that'd be double dipping from us. That's just
Right.
questions I have.
Yeah, I think they do have their own customer base. It's divided by area, so they have different areas. What's interesting about Lakewood's service is that Lakewood doesn't directly service, that's mostly contractors. So they could ask their people, their contractors, but their in-house staff, they don't normally deal with these problems. So it's not top of mind for them either. And then the state laws, how it's going to impact us again, all that legal thing we have Dylan hard at work, looking at avenues and how it's all going to impact us. You've heard Lakewood's interpretation that we have to do whatever the state says under emergency powers. How that filters down to us is another thing we are still looking into.
That would be a burden to us, tremendous burden
It would.
on top of the infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Well, I think that's everybody, and that's 1 minute until we've got to go into the regular meeting, so that is wonderful timing. If you have any other further questions, please fill out the form. I will get back to you, somebody will get back to you. Do it that way, then please don't, feel free to reach out. So I appreciate it.
Those signature sheets, I don't see anybody out there.
I think Ryan will
I
take
got
you
'em.
up,
I got them.
You got them?
Yeah.
and we will adjourn the special meeting. I have 6:28. Thank you